Good girl.
I'm Rebecca Ballin, and I have the head riding instructor here now at Ridge Valley for the last 5.5 years. I've been with the stable for about 6 years, and I've known Bet since I first walked in the door.
Good girl. You want a cookie? You want a cookie? Good girl.
Sandy, she's a funny little horse. She acts like she's the big boss of everything. She always lays her ears back like, I'm gonna, tear into you, until you go, hey, and then she melts.
Go to your room. That's a girl. Good girl. Go to your room, San. Go to your room. That a girl. What a good egg you are.
She's been reading about Nashville and all the records that everybody's buying. Says I'm a simple girl myself, grew up on Long Island. So she packs her bags to try her hand. Says this might be my last chance. She's gone country, look at them boots. She's gone country, back to her roots. She's gone country, a new kind of suit. She's gone country, yes she comes. Yeah, we've gone country, the whole world's gone country.
She was very right up front, did everything one right after the other, and I, the one who kind of picks everything apart and then pampers them a lot because I don't want anything to go wrong in the end. And you were treating them like a livestock. It wasn't that you didn't dislike them, it was that you didn't have that bond yet.
Don't like to be bothered when you're eating, huh?
And that didn't come until you decided after a while, because every horse that you were riding finally got sold or got moved on, and you decided to get your own.
Okay, come on. Come on.
And the bond began. And it was there before, from the first time you bought her.
You've had enough to eat. You've had plenty to eat. Come on. No eating. No eating. Stop it. No eating. You're done eating. Good girl.
And it was wonderful to watch the one that had been just sort of, okay, this is it, they're here for me to use and we're doing it, to watching the transformation and the exploration that goes on with that bond has taken you skyrocketing places. There's a bond that you've given her that tells her that people here aren't going to hurt her. And that bond from her has opened the doors for Sandy.
Good heavens, look at that head. What a mess. You must have had a ball. Must have had a ball last night. Because this morning my hat is a little too tight, huh? Good night.
And watching you with her, she never lays hers back with anybody when you're around to protect her. So she feels like you have become her protector. And that's a nice thing.
Back up one step. Pata. Come on. Pata.
Then you know they're a partner. It's no longer two separate units, it's one when you're together. And it's a nice bond to see. It's a nice bond to see, and you both draw out the good in both of each other.
Good girl. That's a good girl. You ready for the next one? Hoop, hoop, hoop. It's been very inconvenient to have to ride 31 miles each way, twice a week. And that's taken a lot of dedication. But it's been worth it because the community here is great. The educational environment here is unparalleled. She picked the next one up right on schedule. That is so cute. It's just been great to form a relationship with an animal. I don't think there's any coincidence that I bought a horse not long after my first child grew up and went away to, into his adult life. Had to get another kid. But she's not really a kid to me. She's an animal. And, we're very loyal to one another, but she's an animal and she works for me. Over the 4 years, maybe the best benefit I've had is I've learned to become a horse trainer. And I've learned how to turn her from a very rude and frightened and undernourished mare into a muscly, very tip-top shape, excellent trail horse with no bad habits. People around here really admire her. Good girl. I know this is hard. I know this is the hard part. It's a good girl. Sandy is a good girl. She used to get so freaky when she was being saddled. Sandy is a good girl. She no longer flips out when she feels the cinch. Good girl, Sandy. Good girl. That's excellent. You're okay. You're all right. You're all right. You're okay. No problems here, girlfriend. What a good girl. You want a cookie? That was excellent. Good girl.
All leaves are falling down. Let's make a photograph.
The whole family is into it. Everybody understands it at a very deep level. My husband was an old farm boy, so he's very appreciative. And he actually tends to anthropomorphize Sandy more and treat her more like a kid in the family than I do. He's very sweet and sugary with her. And she knows that he's dad, or he's somebody in the family. She knows she can wrap him around her little finger. And he's very, very affectionate and very positive with her.
Good afternoon there. My name is Bob Fillmore. I'm the father of my kids that started out here in Ridge Valley Stable and about 15 years ago. And they all grown up and they have moved away, and so the dad, so I am following in their footsteps, and I'm taking over where they left off, kind of, with the help of my wife. I'm still an intermediate trainer, I'm a rider, but I love this barn, and the people, the staff here are very good, very helpful. I'm still learning a lot, and every time I come out here, it's always an experience, and it's exciting to be out here around good people, good horses. One of the things that I did enjoy, we did with Sandy and my wife, was we took on a journey of the Mid-State Trail, which was exciting. I drove the trailer with my wife when she go out and make her spots where she taking a trail at her journey with Sandy, and I would meet them I drop them off at one point and I pick them up at another point. The relationship with trailing the horse and being out from the barn away from the other horses was kind of a bit of a challenge for us and for Sandy, because she didn't know what she was up for, what was her purpose. To be out in a total different trails when no other horses have been on, and trying to perform a task. She did very well. I seen some of the places that she was at that was kind of a challenge for Sandy. She taught us a lot about her personality and what she liked and what she didn't like, and we learned a lot about her personality. Being away from the barn and everything from the other horses. That was kind of interesting. We didn't know what was, the kind of cues that she was, and the signals that she was giving us, why she was behaving a certain way, being out in nature in a strange place. But we figured out as the journey got a little easier for us. And I gotta say, Sandy is a good horse. She met the challenge. She did what her owner asked her to do, and she figured it out, and we went from there.
believe what's coming down the street.
What?
It's a green-legged horse.
Oh my goodness.
Have you ever seen a green-legged horse?
Not
Wow.
now.
Wow, looking good. Thanks for bringing the horses.
These are from Ridge Valley Stables.
We started out with 6 horses in 1972, and we had 6 saddles and 6 blankets and 6 pads, 6 hoof picks. We had 6 of everything. And now we're up to about 50.
This Ridge Valley group has a lot of spirit.
Hi, I'm Terry Terrian. My family owns Ridge Valley Stables. We've been here since 1972. And how long have I known you, Bet?
Since 93.
Since 93, and Bet and her family have become family here. Well, I just tried to ride her first. First thing I do is I get on and make sure I can stay on them, you know. And I loped her and canted her. She's real smooth gaited and real willing, and I was pretty impressed. Put her through things, you know, water and mud, and sometimes you have to look for that stuff if you're not familiar with the area. I got off her, got back on her, went around, picked up her feet, and sometimes they leave you when you do that, you know, you have to walk home. She didn't. But nice horse. And a fine horse. She couldn't have bought a better horse. That's helped me do a couple of loading clinics on how to get horses that don't want to go on and how to teach them to load. There's 2 different things. People hire me to put the horse on the trailer commonly, and then other people hire me to train them to go on. When you get a call in the middle of the night to truck a horse to the animal hospital, you've got to get them on. There's no time to train them. But when you have time, it's better to train them, so if you have a medical emergency, they'll just walk on for you. That's a good trainer, and she enjoys it, and the horses seem to like you. And that's important because, you know, if you don't like your teacher, you're not going to work for them. You know, and that's what we are as teachers.
Take it easy. Sandy loves to go bareback. She loves to go fast. Without that saddle, she's got 50 pounds less weight, and it makes her very happy. The first year I had her, she came from Rhode Island, and the first summer I had her, her immune system crashed, and in September she came down with strep and was in bed for 5 months until January. So our first autumn together, and all the beautiful foliage, we actually didn't get to ride. She was quite sick, and during that time, she really bonded with me a lot because I was out here almost every night. And really in '03 I started to school her and train her. She was afraid of the cinch, so she would rear when you saddled her. The 5th day I had her, she reared up right over here and broke my nose. But it wasn't too serious. It wasn't her fault. I just got in the way. So we had a lot of wrinkles to iron out. She loves to go out on the trail and look for new trails. She loves her job. And for me, it's just a great, being a horseman is a very elaborate excuse for being outdoors because I'm not a skier and I'm not sailing and diving anymore. So it's just a great way to be out in nature. And she really, really appreciates that. It's just a lot of companionship and adventure. We have quite a few adventures together. Yes, indeed. Oh, all done. Stay right there. Certainly has kept me in shape. Well, I bought Sandy on June 1st of 2002, and this is now the fall of 2006, so it's been about 4.5 years. So I guess I was tired of walking somebody else's dog, so to speak, training other people's horses and riding other people's horses. I started looking in the want ads around Mother's Day, and 2 weeks later I had bought this horse. The first horse I saw was this really pretty chestnut mare with a yearling running with her in the pen, which turned out to be Sandy. And then I rode 11 more horses. I went back and rode horse number 1 again, and I went back to Terry and said, horse number 1 really is the one I want. Her mane was one big dreadlock. She was 200 pounds underweight. She hadn't been shod in 5 years. And she had a yearling running with her who was still nursing. So she was a fixer-upper. We didn't even know she was beautiful when we bought her. When I first told Terry I wanted to buy a horse, he said he'd get me one. And he said, what kind of a horse do you want? And I said, oh, I don't know, you pick one out. And he said, what color? I don't care. What age? I don't care. What sex? I really don't care. And he said, well, what do you care about? And I said, get me a horse that doesn't look like it was made by Dr. Seuss and has a good bareback back. And then I went out and found this horse on my own. She comes when I call her. I taught her to do that. And I can whistle over the mountain, over the hill, and she'll come. Actually, she had a really funny look on her face when she came back with this girl just now. Like, did I do a good job, Mom? Did I do the right thing? Like dogs, you know, a lot of mammals, the higher mammals have expressions. The horses definitely have expressions amongst themselves. An eyebrow, a flared nostril, their ears are signals between them, among them. And yeah, she definitely has some expressions. She'll show the whites of her eyes when she's either anxious or frightened. And sometimes when she's doing that and it's unnecessary, I'll just say to her, you know, you don't have to do that. You don't have to give me the whites of your eyes. You can just calm down. She seems to be reassured. I'm not going to anthropomorphize animals, but they are as intelligent as dogs, and they get the drift. She's very protective in the stall because she had a foal, and so she still behaves as if she's protecting a baby if you go in there. And I went in there once to get something, and I bent over, and she grabbed the back of my leg with her teeth. And I stood up and went, did you bite me? Did you just bite me? And she threw her head up, and she was really, really scared, like waiting to be hit. And I just said, I'm not going to hit you, but you can't be doing that. And she was like, oh, my misbehavior is not being followed by a beating. How very interesting. And that was the beginning of her understanding that she's never had pain inflicted on her. Not at this ranch. We don't do that here. There's no violence here. People see her differently. The people around here are much more pet-like, oh, she's so sweet, and oh, she's so good, and you know, I tell her that she's good when she's good, but I'm not quite that, whatever that is. When she's a good girl, you know, I'll give her a hug. And when she was sick, I cried, I kind of panicked. When she was sick last month, I was afraid she might be ruined for good, and that really was kind of upsetting. Because we've had 2 other horses here this year that got ruined by accident, and we thought maybe she had been ruined, so September wasn't good. But that all cleared up. It turned out to be something very minor, thank goodness.
I don't have any more, I'm good. Back up.
There we go. You back up just a step. Please, just back up a step. All right.
the best of old times. With his eyes on fire and running like the wind, he's gonna take me down forgotten trails again. And who knows where it's going? Maybe it's all gonna show. I'm betting on a horse that's running, same as before. Running like the wind. There's never been one to follow. He would set his own pace. Ain't nothing that he would allow to take it all away. And when the sun sets on everyone and falls into the sea, you can find me on the horse that's running, and that's where I'll be. And who knows where it's going? Maybe it's all gonna show. I'm betting on a horse that's running, same as before. And who knows where it's going? Maybe it's all gonna show.
We did a lot of riding out west in Colorado with sombrero ranches, and the kids kept saying it was remarkable that I was as ancient as I am in doing this. And they suggested that, because they're both actors, they said, you know, you should, and Sombrero Ranches Company has videos made all the time, and our kids have been in them, some of them, just about their work. So they suggested that we do this kind of for posterity. Ironically, they said, you know, we can show it to our grandchildren, and we didn't have any grandchildren at the time, but as of last week, we do. But my overall response to doing this was, it was harder than I thought. It really required much more preparation than I had anticipated, even though I understand the industry, I understand the medium. But I really meant it to be kind of a lyrical record of this interesting mare and her little story, you know, and the story of somebody who found her and, you know, developed her, because she was pretty much going to waste where she was. You know, she was very fortunate to come to this farm. Being outdoors and giving yourself time to contemplate everything that you do and see here, and using your physical energy, which people don't get to do in the city, is really worthwhile. I feel very fortunate.
Sometimes the best cowboys ain't cowboys at all. She's got my back even when it's against the wall. When I need a friend, well, she's the guy